Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and in this video I am going to do a review and blood glucose test on the new spaghetti-style Healthy Noodle. Well, I don't know how new they are. They're new to me. Around 5 years ago, I did a noodle showdown, comparing some konjac noodles with the Healthy Noodle from Kaibun? Now before I get too far into this review, I need to point out that the Healthy Noodle products are a Costco exclusive. So if you don't have a Costco nearby, you're kind of out of luck. Unless, of course, it turns out not to be very good, then you're not out of luck. Let's start off with the nutritional information and ingredients. The serving size is a half a package, total calories 30, total fat 0 grams, total carbs 7 grams, of which 5 are dietary fiber for a net 2, and 0 grams of protein. Now, the ingredients. If you are a stickler for ingredients, you're probably going to find a couple on here that you don't like. There are also a couple of ingredients in here that are going to sound a little bit like a chemistry experiment, and in a way it is, because they come from the world of modernist cuisine. There are a couple of minerals, a specific type of sodium and a specific type of calcium, that when combined can basically take something that's wet or mushy and solidify it. It's used for the process of spherification, and it's also the process I used in a couple of videos I did about 3 years ago making some noodles from chicken or spinach. Anyhow, here we go on the ingredients. Water, cellulose powder, sodium alginate, soybean fiber powder, yam konjac powder, sterilized psyllium husk powder, and the following ingredients, which are all less than 1/2 of 1%. Calcium carbonate, corn oil, baking soda, xanthan gum, carrageenan, beta-carotene, salt, and calcium chloride. Now, I know some people are very anti-carrageenan because carrageenan is used as an inflammatory, I don't know what I would call it. It's an inflammatory device often used in lab experiments on mice to create inflammation that then drugs are used to test on. However, that is denatured carrageenan. That is not what is in this. Denatured carrageenan cannot be in a food product. But if you still hate carrageenan, that's your call. So, the noodles have been drained, they have been rinsed, and they are in a pot. We're cooking this over low heat, just to heat them up, and then we'll give them a taste. All right, I think we're about done here. So I'm going to transfer half of this to a bowl. Now, one thing that I noticed when I was putting it in the bowl, these noodles are definitely more fragile than pasta or ramen. I would say the thickness of them is about like ramen. I'm going to try and twirl it a little bit here, like traditional spaghetti. That kind of worked, but it is a little bit fragile. It is breaking apart a bit. And I will turn down the volume on the taste test here for the 95% of you that aren't into ASMR noises. Pretty flavor neutral, and I'll come back to that in a second. Texture-wise, it's sort of like a cheap ramen. You know, the packets that, at least back when I was in college, they were 10 for $1. I have no idea what they are now. Aroma-wise, there is that faint konjac smell to it. It's not like full-out konjac noodles, which really kind of smell like, I don't know, low tide. But there's a tiny little bit of that, and certainly based on my first bite, I can say that with a little bit of butter or some garlic olive oil on this, that would probably take care of both the smell and that little bit of taste that I'm getting. That's just a little bit of konjac, possibly a little bit of psyllium. Yeah, the texture on this is straight out of college budget ramen. And I'm not saying that as a negative, I'm just saying that's what it is. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to finish this bowl. I'm wearing a Dexcom G7 continuous glucose monitor, and I'm using the Levels Health app to analyze what the performance is of my blood glucose over the course of the next 2 hours. I'll be back to let you know what happened. It has been about 2 hours and 20 minutes since I took my first bite of the Healthy Noodle spaghetti, so let's see how my blood glucose has responded. A 10 out of 10. I'm not sure why there's this picture of the salad there. Let's dive a little deeper. And look at that. 1. 1 milligram per deciliter of glucose movement. Essentially, I mean, it's stable. It even kind of went down a little bit over the course of that 2 hours. So an excellent score. Now, one experiment I did on my last couple of bites, I added a little shake or two of this Trader Joe's vegan chickenless seasoning salt. So it's got sea salt, onion powder, spices, turmeric, and garlic powder. No maltodextrin, so good. And let me tell you, it tasted totally like cheap ramen. And I mean that as high praise. Now, I haven't told my wife the little modification that I made, but I'm gonna have her come out and try it. So I have my non-keto wife, Terry, here, and she does not know what I have done to these noodles.
Okay.
I'm gonna have her give a taste test and her non-keto opinion.
Okay.
So here you go.
Very good. It's like butter, like buttered noodles and
No butter.
olive oil.
No olive oil.
Okay, so I can
What does it remind you of?
taste this. It's really good. So.
So did you ever have like those cheap packaged ramen noodles?
Oh yeah, ramen noodles.
So
okay.
I added some of that Trader
Broth.
Joe's.
Oh, okay.
What's it called? Like, I think everything but the chicken, or the vegan chickenless.
Oh yeah, like packaged ramen noodles. There you go. With broth.
Were you gonna eat all of it?
I could. They're pretty yummy. Oh yeah, exactly. You know, now that you say that, yeah, it smells like the package of those little cheap little ramen noodles. Yeah, for like 15 cents or whatever they are now. But yeah, good job.
All right. I suppose you can have the
Yeah.
rest. So we've determined that the healthy noodle definitely works as a ramen, but how about as a spaghetti? Will it stand up to a heavier meat sauce? That was my next experiment. For my sauce, I'm going pretty meaty here. I've got 2 pounds of ground beef, to which I'm adding some Italian seasoning, and a jar of Rayo's marinara sauce. This is pretty low-carb stuff. Mix that together, and then start prepping the noodles. First, I'm gonna drain them, then I'm gonna rinse them off well, and then they're gonna go into a non-stick pan. I'll probably only heat them for about 5 minutes. That's about all it's gonna take. Then, time to plate them up. Add a little beef sauce, or maybe a lot of beef sauce, and finally, some fresh grated Parmesan. Now for the taste.
I'm telling you, this is my new keto spaghetti right here. I was not expecting it to be this good.
So my final thoughts on the healthy noodle. It definitely works better as a ramen than a spaghetti, but it still works decently as a spaghetti. The texture is kind of like overcooked pasta, though. You don't get any of the starchiness, and you're certainly not going to get any sort of an al dente sort of feel to it. So if you're looking for that, you're not going to find it here. Additionally, even though the serving size is listed as 2 per packet, it's pretty easy to polish off an entire packet by yourself. Ultimately, I'm pretty pleased with this product, and I think if you don't have an issue with the ingredients, or potentially have an issue with overdoing it by eating too much if you've got a ramen addiction, it's a decent product. So check out your local Costco, see if they have it. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please click that like button. If you're not a subscriber already, tap that subscribe button, then hit the bell to turn on all notifications. And if you'd like to help out the channel and get some perks and returns, click that join button and see what the different channel membership levels are all about. Thanks for watching.